Here we go again. Postpartum meal prep for baby number 4. This time around, my main focus was sourdough breads and breastfeeding snacks. So I didn't put as much emphasis on meals because my husband is a great cook and he plans to do it. He just wanted some sourdough breads to go with the meals, and then obviously I'm gonna need lots of snacks. One of these snacks are these berry muffins. It comes from a blueberry muffin recipe from Once Upon a Chef. I love all her different, I think I've tried like 3 or 4 different muffin recipes from her website, and I love them all. I will link them below. And they just, this time in particular, I usually put wild frozen blueberries in them, but I had gotten like a mixed berry frozen bag instead this time, and they turned out really, really good. Here is one of my favorite things to meal prep in general, but it's also really good for postpartum. I did a really big batch of my homemade granola. The recipe's on my blog at froshoffthebranch.com. And this is just a staple in our household. We eat it as cereal or with yogurt or just by itself, kind of like a trail mix. And it's really good. I like it with banana or berries or just a little bit of honey. And a little bit goes a long way. And once you have like the bulk ingredients, it really doesn't cost much. So I like to make a big batch of that, store it in a big glass jar in my pantry, and I just know that no matter what, we have something that'll fill our bellies. Next was probably the biggest thing I focused on this time, which was making loaves of sourdough bread. Making sourdough bread is actually a lot easier than I ever thought it was. And when I finally got around to learning it and finding a recipe that worked really well for me and my schedule, I really enjoy it. I bake about once a week, and I make either 2 or 4 loaves from the recipe that I have. So in the weeks leading up to this baby, I would bake once a week, bake 4 loaves. We would eat 1 for dinner, and then I would freeze 3. So that's kind of how I built up the stock that way. So on this particular day, I think I gave 1 of the loaves to the milkman. We ate 1, and then we had 2 to store. So this will be great because it can be taken out, thawed pretty quickly, and then heated up in the oven and used either just standalone for sandwiches or just for eating with some grass-fed butter, or of course with like a soup or any type of meal. So that's a great option. So another one that I love, and I try to have from time to time prepped for our freezer in our house, are these sourdough pizza crusts. I get this recipe from Little Spoon Farm. She's amazing as far as sourdough recipes. I'm obsessed with her bagel recipe and her cinnamon rolls. I highly recommend all 3 of these recipes. I don't know if I've tried anything else from her, but they're all outstanding. So highly recommend. And so what I like about this recipe is I think I quadruple it, and that gives me 8 crusts when I do it that way. I could be wrong, but yeah, so I did it that way this particular day. So here you're seeing me just strengthen the dough for each of these crusts. And what I like about this recipe is that once I ferment the dough, I can just leave it in the fridge and use it within a day to make pizza. And we just add cheese. You could add whatever else, but our family, we don't even do sauce. We just do olive oil and herbs and some shredded cheddar cheese. But what's nice is that once the dough is fermented, I put each individual pizza crust in a gallon Ziploc bag and label it, put it in my freezer, and it defrosts really quickly, probably within less than a half an hour, and I'm ready to make pizza for the night. So it's a really good one to prep, and And then say if, my husband's gonna make it, all he has to do is get some garlic ready and some cheese shredded. And then the bottom browns in my 12-inch cast iron skillet on the stove. And then you put it in the oven under the broiler until everything's browned up. And that's it. So it's really quick, but it's a long fermented sourdough recipe. I have done it before where I just mix up the dough and cook it right away, and it's still good. I just find that the dough ends up being a little bit more hard to chew, not in a bad way. It just definitely turns out more light and airy when you allow it to ferment a little bit longer. So overall, a better product that way. Next, I want to show you guys some of the things that I already prepped for my freezer. So these are a lot of them breastfeeding snacks. And then right here, these are some sourdough buns. This is a recipe that I came up with. It's kind of a spin-off my challah recipe. I haven't posted this one on the blog yet, but I will soon. This was banana chocolate chip muffins. This is my mom's banana bread recipe that I made into muffins, and I made 12 perfect muffins, which was really cool, instead of just a loaf. And then this is the oatmeal cherry cookies. This is the same as my oatmeal cranberry cookies, like you're seeing right here. I'll link the video for that. I just had dried cherries instead of cranberries. And then I also added some protein powder and flaxseed for that. Finally, for the snacks, here are some energy balls. This was from Minimalist Baker. They're the 5-ingredient peanut butter ones. I think I added one more ingredient. But these are really good and great when you're super hungry. And then finally, I did a big quadruple batch of the sourdough bagels I was telling you about earlier in the video. These, again, are from Little Spoon Farm. They're really good. So we will either eat these just with some cream cheese or maybe some sauteed onion and egg and turkey bacon, whatever we have on hand. But these make one of my favorite postpartum meal prep items.